Hey, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon to you, man. How's it?
Yes, good afternoon, Isaac. Good afternoon from Monrovia. It's a hot day here. Thankfully, the
Really?
rain. Yes, it's hot in Monrovia. I mean, I was just out in the street. The
So
rain
no
has
rain?
no rain. I mean, at least for all the places I've been today, I've not experienced rain. It's been
Okay.
good so far. Yes, it's
All right.
been good so far.
Wonderful, wonderful. But has it been raining a lot?
Recently, it's been raining a lot. I mean, on the overall, it has rained more this year compared to last year. So it's raining here. Roads are very bad. Yeah, the rain this year has not been something easy to deal with.
Okay, much better. Um,
But
so our favorite music, what is it? Staying Alive, right?
yes,
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so I'm not sure we can kick it with the music. But can you sing?
I wish I
Can you
could,
sing?
but
Man,
no.
that's one of the biggest things I wish I could do, but I just can't. I really can't.
I mean,
But
there are there are two things I know I cannot do. I can't sing. I can't dance. So I don't even try.
no, my own I see with dancing I can try small. But
I mean, I can see
you
that. Just the way you move your head tells me you can dance. So
I can try small. I don't know if I reach the Buga dancer level, but I can try.
I don't think
Because
anybody does.
Buga dancer is a naturally talented guy. Just the intellect and the heart for Liberian on there. But he's
Yeah,
naturally talented. He's blessed.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um so with other music, we can just go into this and do what we do, right? I'm in San Diego. A friend of mine, Daniel Mannion, passed away, and we are here, commiserating with the family, sympathizing, and trying to see, how we can work with the family going forward. It's a tough time because you're going through mourning. So sometimes in these situations, however, Daniel is a guy who built a school in one of the most remote part of Liberia, in Mowe district in Riverside County. And he has like more than 380 students at this school. And he was actually take some stuff, flat screen TVs, more nice chairs, a whole bunch of donations he had been trying to secure. Unfortunately, he had a massive heart attack like 2 Thursdays ago and passed away. So our prayers are with the family, and we just hope that we can continue his legacy, because those kids need to go to school. They need to have that opportunity for a quality education, which is what he was providing. And he was actually taking flat screens for each classroom and all of that, man. So it's just a sad and depressing thing. But I just hope that there will be people willing to make recurrent payments, that we can contribute to Daniel's foundation and make sure that his legacy remains alive, even in his absence, that these kids can have a wonderful opportunity for education and be able to be, some of the leaders for the next generation in Liberia. So we can only hope for that. Yeah, so the funeral is today at 11. That's why, I can't spend 2 hours on the show because I got to go get ready. So let's try and do this, man. So what's on your end? Beside the rain and beside nice weather today.
First, I want to say uh, peace to the family of Daniel. I didn't know him well,
Thank you.
but from all indication, he was a great Liberian and he was contributing immensely towards education in your native Riverside County, particularly. So I hope the people of Riverside, I mean, this falls on you first before it reach to the entire Liberian population. I mean, you have to
Yep.
keep this vision, you have to keep this dream alive. And you have a lot of great sons and daughters who should be able to uh, conglomerate all the ideas
That's
and
that's
push
a
it.
that's a great point you are making, and I keep asking the people of River why the great son. I got cousins who are scared to go to River Says. You think the people will kill them. And I tell them, they witchcraft. I don't believe in witchcraft. And I told the people from day one, I'm scared of no witchcraft. Y'all wish me, y'all wish me. The only thing y'all can do is poison me. That's what I believe. You can tell me somebody in a dirty drawers or bomber or whatever they're wearing in some hot somewhere can cause something to come happen to me and kill me. It's just not possible in my mind. So no kind of medicine man or anything can do that kind of thing to me. So I would say
But
anyway, you want to go wish me. But if you
you know,
take my food and you poison me, or you put something down and I step on it, yeah, that go out thing, maybe that true, they can put something down, people can step on it, but I poison in your system. You know, it affects you. But all those things are not inside.
don't be scared. I mean, you still have over 50 years to live.
No, I won't go that far. God promised me 3 and 10. I'm 60 now. If I live 10 more years, I'm fine with it. Let me tell you, my lifetime I have lived have been a wonderful life for me. So 10 more years, that anything after that, I grieve it. My mom lived up to 94. When
Oh
she
wow.
from 70 for 24 years, I was telling your mom, I won't hear one complaint from you. Because God now gave you 3 and 10. That's it. The other one, I just grieve it. Anything you do now, just enjoy. Just try to be blessed. And that's how I see life, you know. So
Well,
nobody should ever cry for me. Nobody should ever cry for me when I die because I have lived a full life. I have enjoyed myself. I just hope
we
people can
still
just,
we
celebrate,
still
enjoy
meet you
themselves.
around when you're 50 years old. Don't worry,
Yeah,
we'll be
we'll
around.
be able to mentor as much as we can because it's very, very important, that this next generation are coming up get some guidance as to what the vision of a better Liberia is. And once more people build that vision, we'll be able to get there as a country. But anyway,
Absolutely.
what's the hottest news? What are the hottest news items?
I mean, obviously, the whole UN General Assembly has been the center of attraction in Liberian politics. I know a lot has been happening, but everything involving how the First Lady was at the UN General Assembly playing Candy Crush on her phone, to how the Chief of Protocol of the Republic of Liberia appeared at the UN Assembly dressed like someone down waterside trying to
But she was
some.
carrying a bag. She was a bag carrier. What do people expect from a bag carrier?
I mean, she had a backpack in her front as though when you're down, don't put a bag at your back because someone will finger it. So
But
she did the same thing at the United Nations. I mean, what a
that's
preposterous.
that's that's exactly what it was. The fear of somebody opening that backpack and stealing something. So she put it right in front of her. So just looking at that bag, what do you think was in that bag?
A huge stack of money to make sure they take care of.
And
They
just
take
the
care of the
shape of the
president.
stuff in the bag. How many people put structured stuff like that in a backpack? So I mean, some things are obvious from there. But seriously though, um, we know like the first lady. I mean, her interest is not the country. Her interest is not international affairs. That should be clear by now for people. You don't think? What has
Yeah.
she done in terms of these 5 years to reflect a first lady focus on the issues of making a difference in Liberia? I don't know.
I mean, and as a on this, you can set me right, but I don't know of any first lady who actually got budgetary allocation throughout the history of our country. She's the first to get legitimate state funding directed to her and her projects and her undertakings. I mean, she should do more than any other first lady in the history of our country. And
Yes.
I believe the whole United Nations platform gave her the opportunity to be able to lobby for some of the things she claimed to be doing already. I've seen few of her advocacies and few of her banners, launching various activities in the country. I don't know how far they've gone or if they are only meant to benefit citizens. I believe the United Nations gave her, a bigger platform where she could engage people. And to be honest, at such a global platform, women are normally given much greater access and much greater opportunities
But
to
but
engage
you
with
know
global organizations.
your point is strong, Mother. They have these meetings before. Even Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she hosted a meeting of like the first ladies, right? And she hosted
Yes.
a meeting of women leaders, women world leaders. Okay,
Mhm.
and that was facilitated by our Liberian, our Deputy Secretary General of the UN, who is a Liberian, Sarah Yanti, Sarah Beslo Yanti. She
Yes.
facilitated that session. That should have been a session that Madame Claudia should have been at, you know. And, you know, in my opinion, she's articulate. You know, I think she can represent if she really wants to. You know, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that level of interest is there for her to do what she's supposed to do as a first lady and as a budgeted first lady. But you know,
Uh,
that's aside. The obligation, responsibility is not on her. You know, it will
but
come to the real issues. Yeah.
Isaac, before we close on this, you know, the first lady is very articulate, and I know that I've listened to her speak. You know, she can even make a stronger case for the country than her husband. I mean, that's just a
Energy.
fact.
Energy.
Uh, but again, Mr. Cummings normally says, "I'm the leader. You set the tone. If you have a president who bases about playing and merit making and does not show true and real commitment and determination to change anything significantly while he leads a country, it will reflect on all his lieutenants. And what the first lady did is just a clear show of the fact that, I mean, the government in general is uninterested in changing our country's situation. So, I mean, she just had to play. I mean, no serious thing. There was no agenda. Even before going to the United Nations, what meetings did they have to make sure, okay, when we go to the United Nations, you're going to have 10 meetings. These are the people you talk with. This is what you're going to be presenting on. I mean, what is the platform? Why is she there? We as a country, we don't even know. So, I mean, I guess the president did not tell her or the government did not tell her. So, I mean, no surprises whatsoever. In so far as it embarrasses her, makes her look bad. But, I mean, that's just the thing.
You know, that's a great point, right? For any kind of major meeting like that, you should have a goal. You should have your agenda.
You've gone out there. I can't hear you. I don't know whether it's from my end or yours. Yeah, camera keeps rotating. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Isaac. You are muted now. You are muted from my end.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, yours is muffled. But what I was trying to say is, when you go to these international meetings, you got to have your own agenda about what you expect to achieve. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that the government of Liberia has a clear agenda that it pursues at these different meetings, where it defines and says, look, going to this meeting, we expect A, B, C, D. I think the biggest claim is to get through the program. That's what it looks like. And unfortunately, because we are so used to the gaps and the failures of the president when he tries to express himself, that is not what the substance is now. It's just the flavor around the program, right? Will he get us through this? For a whole nation to hold its breath and be wondering if the president will make mistakes on the international scene, and for his supporters to be excited. Oh, the president may not be mistake, right? But let's say things about presentation, but let's not worry about the presentation. We need to analyze the content of what the president came with. So, in terms of what he said, the content of that, they all look fine and well for somebody who's not informed. But for people informed, what do they think about what he said? Because he made some claims. He made several claims. And you on the ground, Malva, what do you think about those claims that the president was making in the speech? Let's focus on the issues and forget, his presentation or the flaws that were in the presentation. Let's focus on the actual speech.
I mean, first of all, what I was taken aback
We need to ask our people who are listening whether they can actually hear you. Can you guys hear Malva clearly?
I mean, I hope you are hearing. I mean, I tried listening in from the live feed, and I think my audio is fine.
You sound muffled coming through.
You think I should go out and come back?
You clearly, Malva, go ahead. I can hear you clearly for some reason, but you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Isaac, first I want to talk about the whole pro agenda for prosperity and development. The president actually made mention of what should be his medium-term development platform or agenda for his government. Unfortunately, I don't know what the president considers the whole proper agenda to be because look, his government is operating 100% in the opposite direction to everything inscribed within the proper agenda. First of all, there's poverty all over the country. In fact, increased poverty in Liberia. There is no power whatsoever because look, if you look at the pillars of the proper agenda for prosperity and development, there are four key pillars. Pillar one is power to the people. Pillar two is the economy and jobs. Pillar three is sustaining the peace, and the last one is governance and transparency. I mean, just on these very four pivotal pillars in the proper agenda, the president falls flat on everything. I mean, Liberians do not have power in their hands. Power is concentrated more than any time in our contemporary Liberian body politics. Power is concentrated in the executive, particularly with the president, not only with the entire executive, but the very few people around the presidency. Very important thing. And unfortunately, our people are just seeing themselves as irrelevant or not important. Even people in government positions, you hear them complain and say, I mean, once Mr. A, B, C, D, does not agree. I mean, when I work, even if you go to the president when I work, it has to be certain group of people who have that concentration of power to make determinations. We obviously know the economy is doing very bad. We are, on a downward spiral since Mr. We are president. The economy has been going downward, and everything is just going downward. The prices of basic commodities and goods and services keep increasing exponentially. Even today, there is an issue of there is a potential rice crisis looming because there's no rice in the country. A lot of people are complaining. People are paying $20 for a bag of 50-pound rice, which is just a half bag of rice in Liberia, as we call it. Sustaining the peace, obviously, the government feels totally on this. Georgia is not sustaining the peace. If anything, Joshua is actually doing everything he can to derail the peace and security of our country. I mean, then talk about governance and transparency. There's no transparency. The police go and beat people, no accountability, no transparency. Politicians go organize thugs and ruffians. They attack peaceful Liberians. No transparency, no accountability. The government is totally just failing, has it? I mean, that's just my first point I wanted to strike in the president's speech at the United Nations. So let me let you weigh in and maybe.
So I'll be honest with you in the listening audience. I didn't hear you because my mic is muffled. But I will share my thoughts on the content of the president's speech. The president claims 67% of our people have been fully vaccinated. I don't know whether he understands the term fully vaccinated and what it means. I think today it means that you have actually taken your 2 COVID shots and your booster. And I know for a fact that is not the number. So for that to be the number that is shared with the world, I mean, that's a blatant lie. And it's just unfair for the president to lie to the world about what's happening in Liberia at that level. Sometimes you wonder if the president has any understanding of what's going on around him. Because to not even be aware of what's going on in your country, the country that you lead, is pathetic. Then the president talks about the women issue. How can the situation around women, talking about equity, you're surrounded with a bunch of women, many of whom are considered your concubines or your girlfriends, okay? There's no serious competitive process in terms of the hiring process of how you hire people. I'm trying to open this door. Woo. I'm having a problem with my keys. It could be the credit card again. Oh, good. Yeah, so I gotta try to switch to my computer mobile because
Okay.
the network is bad. I'm not hearing you right. So let me see if I can join the stream. For you, give us a little bit of time, having a little bit of All right, so let me remove myself from this stream.
We're getting feedback from the you have to switch
Can you hear me now?
loud and clear, but you probably have to turn the cell phone off if you're still using the
I
phone.
turned the cell phone off. Can you hear any feedback still?
No feedback. You come in
All right.
clear.
Yeah, for those who are wondering, I had taken a walk, so I was walking back, and I just want to be on time. Jala Aloysius, my bad. But I'm back. So just to get to the point, the content of the president's speech was to a large extent not factual, you know, and I don't understand how to write a speech like that can be fact checked. And it's not like the government of Liberia has been providing statistics on actual vaccination and and its women progress, right? When you look at the rapes, you look at the sexual and gender violence, you look at some of the other challenges that this government has had. For the president to paint such a rosy picture, what does that tell you? What does it mean to the people? You know, the whole presentation. Did they lose their baggage or something? I mean, I don't understand the way everything looked over there. It just looked like they didn't belong, like it was so inappropriate. And we want a better representation for Liberia. We really, really do. And when it can't happen, it's distressing. It's very, very distressing to people who love Liberia, who want Liberia to be represented well. Many of our friends follow Liberia, you know, and they want to see what's so much about Liberia that we love, that we care about, that we want to be a part of. And that is what it is. That's the kind of issues that we try to make sure that our president, the people who represent the flag, are doing it in a positive way. And sometimes people who support these people, they don't understand the expectations or the standards that are supposed to be set. Where Liberia has been in the Community of Nations, where are we today? How we are looked at? They're crying about references like rogue nation and other stuff like that. But that's the reality. Where we place ourselves is what we bring on ourselves from our relationship with international community, from misusing the monies, from the corruption, from the president's office, McGill, paying warlords, organizing them to make move against people. And then you talk about human rights and other stuff. So it's just sad where we are, but we can only continue to hope. That's the only thing that can keep us going as Liberians to focus on the issue, to focus on a betterment of our people and all of that. We have to hold this government feet to the fire. And this government has not performed at that level, not domestically and not on the international scene. At least with Madam Salif, you could see that she tried to push the international scene. That was her strength. As much as she was failing on the domestic front, she was making moves on it. And that's why they still respect her today. Unfortunately, we can reflect that. You know, we used to harass Madam Salif for trip report as seditionists back in the day. What did you accomplish on this trip? Because Madam Salif traveled a lot. And even for where we are today, you know, I believe Ambassador Weah should even do a little bit more, probably substantive traveling. If he does a little bit more traveling, what is he getting from these excursions out of the country to different country. You know, sometimes you hear announcement, oh, this kind of multilateral relationship or bilateral relationship, but what is the result? What is the benefit? What is the impact? And we don't see those things. So that's why we question, when we question this kind of trip and what the benefit is for and how many people he took, maybe 25 persons. What are they doing? Like you said, the side meetings, what are they accomplishing, you know, for the country? So those are the kind of things we look at. It's not just about talking or making noise. No, it's about expecting tangible results from your leadership.
I mean, Isaac, you are quite right. But unfortunately, George Weah is struggling to please his base, to appear back home to be performing and doing excellently well. Therefore, and he's quite aware, by the way, that if he should go to the international community and paint the actual picture of Liberia, it would be gloomy. But that on the home front will not be received well. I mean, he believes that the opposition will use that to get back at his government or to hold his government feet to the fire. Therefore, he goes to the international community. He wants to paint a good picture. I mean, even though it's not the case, we all know, Weah knows, all citizens know that the picture Mr. Weah paints when he goes to the international community or when he meets our international bilateral partners, I mean, are quite the opposite of what we know on the ground or what the government knows. Now, but what Mr. Weah is failing to realize is that when you go to the international community and to our partners and you paint such a rosy, later they move on to people who are struggling more. Because look, who would take their money to spend it in a country where everything is almost okay, everything is moving well, and nothing has changed, and the country is developing? I mean, who would do that? But if you go and you know our people, our citizenry are dying from malaria, and people are struggling, we do not have safe drinking water in Liberia. The electricity is a major challenge. The Millennial Challenge Corporation, we're not doing well with that, and it's failing. I mean, your governance is struggling. I mean, then people will try to help to strengthen you or give you, assistance. In so far, we are quite aware that we cannot totally wean ourselves as a country and people from all the struggling and the poverty we have in our country from international handouts. It will have to come by truly instituting measures and taking the right steps to change our country. You have to paint the actual picture and be real and be honest with your people. When you come back home, you can face the opposition, or you can face people who disagree with you. But if you paint the actual picture right now, it will show that Mr. Weah has failed, or he's failed miserably. Let me say this, right? Mr. Weah talked about democracy in Liberia, and he tried to make it look like democracy is gaining traction in Liberia, is growing, is getting bigger. Quite untrue. After our civil crisis, as Weah himself stated, unfortunately, he says the democracy is getting stronger, is growing. That's not true. We all know that democracy is not growing in Liberia. In Liberia, when you disagree with George Weah, you criticize him, they tell you you hate George Weah. If anything, Mr. Weah and his handful of guys in his inner circle are taking out democracy downward, just as the economy is going downward, just as the healthcare is going downward, just as light drinking water and everything is going downward. Look, there's nothing growing under George Weah. Everything is going downward. So is our democracy. You know quite well, just on July 26, 2022, students of the University of Liberia, under the banner of the Student Unification Party, were attacked ruthlessly by a group of thugs and ruffians that are massively supported by George Weah himself. They get their training through the presidency, and Jefferson Koji is the one actually leading the government's project on that. A few days ago, we saw the creation of a fake video on YouTube. As a matter of fact, they have two videos that are trending now. One is being used on Freedom FM. Freedom FM, by the way, is sponsored by monies we allot for the National Security Agency. So George Weah and his people are using monies allotted to the National Security Agency to fund Freedom FM. And what is Freedom FM? Freedom FM is a rogue ration. They use it to defame opposition leaders. They say the most ridiculous things you ever hear anywhere. They say things that are unfounded, that are untrue, and they actually are creating a ground where there will be chaos in the country if they do not take.
We go back to the table to really get our agricultural system moving. And there are opportunities, seriously, under this government. The agricultural sectors will have been booming already because there's funding, there's availability of funding, there's even more funding out there that can be gone after, okay? But it's about really doing the work. We can't use this excuse of 1847 as a sedition back in 2012 to 2017 or 2010 to 2017, 2018. We made all the case why the Sirleaf government was not doing it right and why we could do it right. If George Weah had just done certain things right. You see, actions built on actions. Certain things got dependencies. You can't get to a certain place to do certain things. You can't do that. You got to lay fundamental blocks to be able to elevate and get to that place. Now it becomes personal. You should ask Weah where he found, because we have our farm. We are producing. I can show you videos now for the farm. But one individual farm cannot make that difference, Johnson. We need to build cooperatives. We need to aggregate. We need to be able to get our farmers' products processed and sold in country, not pepper coming from Guinea. It doesn't take one person farm to do that. What don't you understand? Government has to create the enabling environment for its people. If government cannot do that, we are wasting our time. If government cannot facilitate something, look, farming all over the world is subsidized by government. That initial capital to get even a partial mechanized farming situation is not available for our people today. You think we talk about, some people will talk about manual labor for farming. We need some level of mechanization to clear land. Our people are strong, they can cut all the trees, but they cannot uproot, they cannot de-root. And once you can't do that, you limit the ability of the soil to produce at the level it's supposed to produce. So on an acre, where you're supposed to get like 50 pounds of pepper from, you can only get 5 or 6 pounds of pepper because your plant cannot root. So again, all the excuses you'll find, they don't resonate with anybody who has any thinking process, because your excuses are so simplistic. They're not relative to the real issues that are facing the Liberian people. And until we can get to that point where we do that, we're not going to move this country forward. We got to be honest with ourselves. What kind of country do we want? Do we really want a better Liberia or want a sycophantic Liberia? You know? So people can do all the insult they want, the entire, but I guess I'm getting to you guys. And when you guys look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this Liberia the Liberia we want? Where we are just beggars, where our city is just dirty, where even if you go to JFK for a dental procedure, you die? Oh man, it's very sad. Is when you go DM, you know my number to text me, Anita? I'll see you.
Probably on Facebook. But fellow Liberians, changing the country should be the paramount objective and the target for each and every Liberian. Whether you are a citizen or a member of the ANC or CPP or Liberty Party, the fact of the matter here is we have to change this country. There is no Liberian anywhere who disagrees with the fact that they're not selling well. I talk to people in the government, ministers in the government, and they tell you, look, brother, we just here. We can't talk because they will remove us from our position, and there's no way to live in the country. So we just election time, George Weah will be beaten massively because the whole population will come against Weah. Weah cannot survive. He cannot even go to a runoff. He'll be beaten miserably beaten, because our people can no longer take the suffering and the struggling while our president goes around dancing buga. In fact, the song he dances is not even a Liberian song. The man promotes songs from other countries. How many times we are taking Liberian songs left and right to promote them? How many artists, even the football that George Weah played, how many footballers has he promoted? What has happened to the nation's football since George Weah became president? As a former Ballon d'Or, how many soccer stadiums we have in the country? How many? Look, why hasn't he?
And I was excited because there was some supposedly deal with some people from Australia or something to build football academies around the country. And Zero. It hasn't happened. You know, it's just sad that these guys are now subjected to emotional statements, insulting, or
That's
making
why
feel
we
cool.
do our education as a for people like those. I mean, we didn't send them to school. The point is, if these guys had the education, better education, where they're not suffering from some level of slavery, they would know that look, in a democracy, people will always disagree with you, but you have to respect their views, even if you don't agree with the views they express. And if you don't have, you have disagreements, you state your disagreements in a respectful manner. But these guys do not even know what it means. They do not value what it means to have a respectful dialogue or to they don't even know that.
No, because
That's how bad
honestly,
education is. You need to teach people.
they have nothing substantive to say. They
Absolutely.
cannot discuss the issue. They cannot come here and debate on healthcare. They cannot come here and debate on education. They cannot come here and debate on the economy. They cannot come here and debate on development in specific sectors, whether it's the mining sector, where we got foreigners and we got these Chinese people exploiting us to the max, and the country is not getting the desired benefit. They can't talk about the construction sector. Yeah, Joe, we have go build 10, 15, 20 houses in San or in some kind of development. You think that's what we're talking about? You look in the capital city right now, the housing is a major problem. The solution is not there, So until people can wake up, until we can move this Stockholm syndrome, where we accept abuse from the abuser and then praise the abuser, we're not moving forward. You keep crying, Johnson win, you keep crying, but what you crying for makes no difference. The president is going to be leading this country in a positive direction. We have significant potential. Obviously, Johnson, I believe that you have some talent, you have some ability, you have some skills. I hope you are utilizing them well. For me, I'm doing mine. You see, I'm a professional. I have the opportunity to do things that many people can't do. That I appreciate my life. And government job is not something that some of us really dream about. Cummings way, I prefer to be a businessman because the business sector will open. I can be a millionaire in a short time. And George Weah have created multiple millionaires already. Look at how the Lebanese dominate our economy. Simple thing like Heineken beer, only one person been importing Heineken beer to our country for 40 years. You won't tell me Liberians who can actually get Heineken cheaper cannot import Heineken into our country? There's nothing wrong with him being the primary distributor, for the Heineken company itself. But I can buy Heineken here and take it to Liberia and undercut that market, but our people don't allow it. Look at the rice sector. It's a cartel. It's limited. Okay? Look at other products. You want to tell me if we're interested in the market people, we could not have over 5 years improved some of our market people to wholesalers, to distributors, and then to importers? It's a progressive thing. But you got to be committed to your people to make the difference for them. You got to support small businesses. So there's just so much opportunity for Liberia to change. There's so many sectors that we can get into. There's so much missing. Other people come from outside. They see the opportunities in our economy and they wonder why Liberians are not thriving. Why are Liberians not successful? Why people from the outside have to come in? Okay, we are in a world right now, in a country right now, where people your own family members try to exploit you and take advantage of you when people should be working together. Okay, so it's just about how we see things, and it's okay for us to see it differently. It's okay for you guys to insult. It's okay for you guys to be very limited in your intellectual capacity and not have the emotional intelligence to have solid conversations about the issues around our country. It's okay. That's your choice. But for us who want to focus on the issue and try to communicate to people that there is a huge opportunity for a better Liberia, we'll continue to do what we do because we believe that's the right direction to go. So, folks, this has been wonderful. I think we've overstayed our time. Moreover, you can close. That rice issue supposedly is no joke. Today, when people go to buy rice, they force them to buy other things before they accept them buying rice. That's not how business is supposed to be. And rice going up to what, $20 a bag of rice? When people living on less than $2 a day. So even somebody living on $2 a day times 30 days, that's $60 a month. When they spend $20 for one bag of rice, that's for the people who working you. When they spend $20 on a bag of rice, that $40 left. They gotta do soup kind. They gotta do bath soup. They gotta do water.
And that's in the field exponential increase.
And probably they need some other things. They're toothpaste. You know, so they're just some basic fundamental things that when you look at it and you look at what people are earning, they don't tie in. So if Liberian people choose to continue to live under these conditions, that's what will happen. You know? So I don't know what you're talking about. You think words are supposed to affect us? No, words don't affect us. That's why people trying to use force. People trying to kill us. You can't debate the issue. You talk about somebody that's being beaten. Jimmy, I'm sorry for you, man. You say you're objective. You can just show yourself every day. Okay, Bolva, you can close.
I think, I mean, these guys are passing the show, so I mean, I have no issue with them whatsoever. So it's good that they come on. But the point is, fellow Liberians, even as we tell you that George Weah is not good for the country, and that's a fact, by the way, and that we need to change Liberia, we are not asking you to make another George Weah. I support Mr. Cummings, and I truly do. And I know thousands of Liberians out there who support Mr. Cummings, but I don't love Mr. Cummings more than Liberia. Liberia should be your first love. Your love for country should be greater, better than your love for any individual. The fact of the matter is Mr. Cummings is a Liberian citizen who believes in Liberia, who has the intellectual weight, the political will, and the ability and the understanding. Mr. Cummings understands economics more than all the other presidential candidates running for president combined. And singularly, no one understands economics better than Mr. Cummings. I mean, of all our presidential candidates. And that's why we support him, because he has leadership, he has understanding, and he will be able to change the country. That's what we need to do as patriotic Liberians. You can love George Weah like we all do. I love George Weah. I don't hate George Weah. But to be president of my country, it is not George Weah that should be sitting in that position, because that position, whatever the person who sits in that position do, will affect me. It will affect all Liberian citizens now and those in the future. Let's change our country. Let's support a man who will change our country, who will make sure we have better health care, who will make sure we have better living condition and better livelihood for our people, who will make sure we have the constant supply of our staple food, rice, on the market, who will make sure we have good water, we will have good healthcare delivery system in the country, who will make sure that people do not die from just little fire here and there. We've heard of a minister who died quite recently because he underwent a tooth removal operation at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. We need to improve our healthcare delivery system, and that's why we are against George Weah's presidency. We want a new man to come there to change the country, so that our brothers and sisters who come to insult us simply because we speak the facts, we realize that the presidency is meant to benefit every Liberian, whether you are a Seditian or you are a member of the ANC or the CPP or wherever you come from, whether you are a Mandingo man, a Lover man, a Crew man. The presidency is meant to benefit every Liberian across the divide. We do not need to be looking for someone to come and say, oh, this man's from the Southeast, or this is a stronghold. We need a president who will be president for each and every Liberian citizen, who will respect every Liberian citizen regardless of who you are or where you come from. And that's why we support Mr. Cummings, because he so clearly has all these characteristics that point to a good leader. And again, before I close, I want to state for the record that the best way to predict someone's future behavior is to look at the past performance and past behavior. So the best way to predict Mr. Cummings' future behavior as president is to take a keen look at his past performance and his past behavior. And that is what he's bringing to the Liberian presidency. Thank you very much. It's been a great day being on the show here with Isaac. He has to run. We look forward to doing this more and more. We are coming on the radios and we try to show we enlighten our people to change this country. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Moba. Folks, peace. I'm going to the funeral for my friend. I will be coming live from the funeral. And, hopefully we can just pray that his family will be well after this funeral. And for all those who will have anybody deceased, we wish the best for you. Take care. Peace.